Furries! Yes, this group of people that dress as dogs are attracted to Disney humanized animals, and if they own a pet, you will start praying that their love for animals is not that much. I always heard that furries support artists very well, and after making my first furry character in the last video, where I merge Frieren and Shadow, and knowing that the economy nowadays is completely fucked, I decided to learn how to make furry characters as a learning experience for me and to show you what I learned so you can do your own and sell it to buy a house or a cow. The first thing I did was to draw a furry character without references, to see my base knowledge. So I thought about what type of character I wanted to do, and I decided to make a casual wolf guy. Now, I said that the fusion between Frieren and Shadow is my first furry character, but just to make sure, I wanted to search in my old art to see if I could find anything. So going through my old folders, I found this, which are the closest thing to furry that I could find. By the way, I know this is not a furry, but I was so proud to see such a good job that I did in 2023. So, not knowing if they would categorize as furry characters, I asked myself, what is actually a furry? I went to Google and I searched that, and the answer was a person who likes anthropomorphic animals. Okay, anthropomorphic means that has human characteristics. That means that an animal talking like a human would be an anthropomorphic animal. So Bugs Bunny, Simba, and Lupin's werewolf form are furries. I don't know how to feel about that. But wait, a werewolf is a furry? Well, technically yes, but to make sure I search if were creatures are furries, and the common consensus is that they count as furries. So that means that my 2020 were crab, were fly, or even Otharu form count as furry. Yes, again, I don't know how to feel about that. If the Otharu form is technically a furry, how about Goku? Because he has a monkey tail, so I searched if having a human with some animal features is considered as furry, and the majority of people don't consider it as furry. So the line is in the middle of human and animal, because a human with animal characteristics is not a furry, but an animal that has human characteristics is a furry. Now, what I could not find is an agreement on where that middle is, so I think that depends on every person. Well, here you have the wolf man without references. I think this is a very good shot at it, but it can be improved a lot, and the best way to improve fast is to see how other artists made their interpretations and problem solving. So I wanted to search for furry artist, and I already had one in my mind. Well, in fact he was the only one I could think of, Taran Fiedler. He is one of my favorite artists. He has a perfect understanding of anatomy. He's an insane artist with amazing works. The only downside of looking too much at his art is that boom, Minotaur dick in your face, unsolicited. Going through his art is like entering a minefield, but I think the risk is worth it. I needed more artists, so I went to the people that I follow, and the only one that I could find aside from Taran is Ryota Murayama, and this guy is insanely good. Like, this is crazy. But I wanted some more. So I searched in Google furry artist, and the only thing that I found was plus 18 content, eliminated Twitter accounts, and some artists that I didn't vibe with their style. So at this point, I gave up, and I decided to go to an artist that I like and see if they have characters that are categorized as furry. The next thing is gathering references. So having in mind that I wanted to do a wolf man with a hoodie, but given what I have seen from this artist, and also having clear that I wanted this piece to be able to attract as much as possible, I started thinking of how I could show some skin, well, in this case fur, without losing the respect of my grandma. After thinking a lot, I decided to make a dynamic parkour jumping pose so the clothes would go up and I would be able to show some abs. Once that was clear, I searched for real-life wolves, outfits, poses, and anatomy. Here you have the reference sheet. Having that, I was ready to start working. The first thing was to sketch the idea I had in mind, and I have to say that besides all the references, I posed myself for this, to feel in my bones the type of pose I wanted. I tried to be as wolfy as I could, integrating myself into their community. If you want to fish a fish, you have to think like a fish, or something like that, I don't know. And before explaining the decisions I made by making this, I wanted to tell you something. You see, while making all of this and after researching so much, I had a question in my head. What is the first furry character? And I have to say that I didn't expect the answer to that question at all. But before telling you, let's play a game. I want you to take a guess, and if you are brave enough, write it in the comments. So while I give you some time to think, let me tell you that also the main thought behind this character pose was to be like some type of scene pulled straight out from a Wattpad story. In my mind, it's like the viewer is the main character and you are looking at the window or something, and suddenly this wolf guy, athletic as shit, does some cool parkour or is running away from some people and does eye contact with you, or something like that. That was the type of storytelling I was searching for. Remember, to be the fish, you have to know the fishes, remember to be the remember. By the way, fun fact, did you know that the first furry convention was in 1989 in California? It was called Conference and was celebrated annually until 2003. Do you know what was also released in 1989? The Little Mermaid. Yes, the movie where we have humanized fishes, birds, and crabs. So going back to the game, if you said something related to Disney, it is a good guess. Disney definitely holds a lot of famous furry characters and is a powerhouse in humanizing things. But no, there are older characters that categorize as furry. Now, if your guess is something related to fables, that is also a good guess. In fact, Disney used fables to make some of its movies, but there are older furries than that. So a lot of you, I'm pretty sure, that have guessed something like the Minotaur, the excellence of furriness. And it's very old also, around 2600 years ago. How about the werewolf itself, which is so present in this era? Well, the first werewolf was in the Epic of Gilgamesh, around 4100 years ago. Then how about Anubis, one of the oldest Egyptian gods? Well, he in fact is very old, around 7000 years old, but I'm sorry to tell you that there is something older than that. But before telling you the answer, here you have the final result of my furry character. What do you think? I think I have done a very good job. Also, the intent in the pose, the expression in the face, and the emotion in the eyes add so much. I think that I would be a very good furry artist. A shame that I'm not into that. But I really like doing all of this. So I think that time to time I will do a couple of these. By the way, making sure the anatomy looks good does so much. And the best tip I take out from all this process is the importance on the eyes. Making humanized expressive eyes is a massive pillar if you want to do a furry character. So, going back to the game, the oldest furry painting that I could find was made around 20,000 years ago. This is a painting in the Lascaux cave of a bird-headed humanoid that people referred as Beardman. And on the left, you can see a type of beard, maybe a chicken. And the other thing, I think it's a type of bison. And by the way, maybe I'm getting crazy making this video after getting flashed so many times, but I'm pretty sure that the Birdman has a boner. I mean, like, if the arm is a stick, then that part would be also a stick. But anyway, this is not the oldest depiction of a furry. It's the oldest painting, but not depiction. And you might think, but Victor, these are cavemen, it cannot go further than this. Well, let me tell you that it can. Older cavemen is the response. They did this little statue. It's called Lowenmensch figurine. That name means lion human. It's made out of ivory and was discovered in Germany in the cave Hollenstein-Stadel. For reference, remember that the legend of the Minotaur in Greek mythology is around 2600 years ago. Well, this little statue was made around 40,000 years ago. That's crazy. So yeah, 40,000 years ago, we had a primal caveman making furry art. And after having all this research and learning how to do furry art, I'm going to say that at least I have more respect for furries now. Like, I would still freak out if I find somebody dressed as a blue dog buying groceries, but I want to dress like a knight or a rogue. So who am I to judge? I just want to say that I don't even know what this video is about anymore. I'm very confused. Anyway, I hope this helps in some way, and a hug to everyone. Hope you liked the video. Bye.